Hello players and GMs, this is Aaron from Jackpack 7. Thanks again for watching our channel. We really appreciate your all's patience. We have made a transition. That's right, Reese has leveled up and we want to give a big round of applause to Reese. He is now concentrating on his day job, but that won't be the last you hear of Reese. I'm sure you'll see his name pop up occasionally in a product, so we're going to keep him as busy as we can, as long as he's available and as long as he wants to do it. So thanks again, Reese, for all your hard work and all the player information that you provided. We're going to miss you, and but I'm going to try to do my best. So here we go. We're going to do some Gnoll tactics for D&D, and generally what I like to do, now this is my way of doing this. So what I'm trying to do with this series of tactics videos is make it a little bit easier to prepare for a game. So if you like, just take what you want from these videos. You might learn some new things. If you're an experienced GM, maybe you might learn some new things. If you're not, if you're brand new, then just listen in and see what you like. And hopefully it'll be kind of a Gnoll Tactics 101 video for you. So here we go. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So generally what I like to do is to start out on a page like D&D Beyond, or what you can do if you have the books available. Obviously look in there, you're going to see something similar here to this layout right here. What we're generally going to focus in on today is this little feature right here. I like to call it a feature, just correct me if I'm wrong, but I always call it that, is the feature called Rampage. This huge description here, yes, huge, but so this sometimes can be enough, but if you're looking for a little bit more information, you can go over to a place. I'm going to skip right over here. If you go over to the Forgotten Realms wiki page, have the link below in the description, so be sure to check that out. But this is kind of a cool go-to site if you're looking for a little bit of lore and a little bit of history. You can go all the way back to the first edition, all the way through each edition here, and get little parts that you want to keep or throw away. It's just kind of cool to be able to get in and take a deep dive on gnolls if you're really wanting to. So one thing that stood out, I'm just going to kind of skip down to a part and just kind of go to the parts that kind of stood out in this area for me, which helps me kind of get a vision of how I want to use these guys. Here, I'll go ahead and read this part so you can get a kind of a basic idea of what these guys are about. Though gnolls were not necessarily evil, the craving of the hunt and primal bloodlust that inhabited the gnoll's mind may have made many of the race lean towards chaotic evil alignment by reflex. Gnolls that succumb to this tendency often become nomadic savages, wreaking havoc wherever they can, giving them their fearsome reputation as slaving brigands throughout the world. Fortunately, such creatures have rarely been united, and although gnolls as a whole have had a strong affinity for family and blood ties, this friendliness has not often extended to those who belong to a different pack, and the race has commonly made war on itself. Some gnolls could suffer from a rare form of madness that could quell their intense hunger and evil instincts, causing guilt for their misdeeds and pacifistic nature. Other gnoll practices might have seemed equally strange, such as the gnoll propensity for scavenging. At its most basic level, this tendency has led many gnolls to collect trophies that remind them of past victories, items sometimes grisly, though just as often simple and mundane. Gnoll trackers have used this to their benefit, keeping scraps of clothing or other objects with the scent of their prey on them, which they have used to point them in the direction of their quarry. So stuff like that just makes it a little bit more interesting. May or may not be effective for the tactics part of the game, but it does help kind of paint the picture, because that's typically what I do. I'm a very visual person, obviously. We run an art studio. So it's just something to consider, kind of give you a little bit more flavor. So I'm going to jump over to the next screen and kind of get into the nuts and bolts of the tactics of what I would do for a gnoll. So starting out on this page, you'll see the 5e gnoll tactics. And before you get ahead, I'm going to make this document available to download off of Dropbox. So I'll dress it up a little bit. What you see here are the 5e gnoll tactics that I would tend to use. It just based on some of the information that I've gathered over the years, the experience that I've played. I typically try to get in the mindset of how the designer sees this monster and try to emulate that and just get an idea. This is why I like going back to the lore and whatnot. So it just kind of it kind of adds to everything, and I think it'll make it more interesting for the GM and also the players too. So that's just my little, I'll get off my soapbox and we'll just dive right in and see what you guys think. All right, 5e Gnoll tactics. Based on their 5e stats, they are more reactive and not likely to be proactive or long-term planners. Again, my opinion. Think of them more as creatures that will seize any opportunity when they can. Their mindset is hyper-focused on hunting warm-blooded animals and scavenging. Gnolls want to eliminate a single victim quickly, as their rampage feature allows the gnoll to move and attack more effectively. From the book, when the gnoll reduces a creature to 0 hit points with a melee attack on its turn, the gnoll can take a bonus action to move up to half its speed and make a bite attack. That's pretty cool. It may not seem like it's a hugely powerful thing at higher levels, but as you keep stacking one gnoll after the next and they just keep coming over the hill, it could add up. This tactic implies that a gnoll will target a single character and then move to another target once they reduce the original target to 0 hit points. That tactic is more instinct than intelligence, so make sure to take advantage of getting a character to 0 hit points as soon as possible. Visually, imagine a pack of hyenas and how they may try to separate a victim from a herd, for example. A gnoll would try to do the same to a party of adventurers and target one they sense as being, quote, weaker. Gnolls do have dark vision of 60 feet. Reminder, a creature with dark vision can see in darkness as if the darkness were dim light. So areas of darkness are only lightly obscured as far as that creature is concerned. However, the creature can't discern color in darkness, only shades of gray. This will come in handy at night. They can sneak around and potentially surprise a party. That's the way I would do it. Maybe try to leverage that too, attacking at night. Consider a night attack and have them track the party for a while, getting an idea of who may be strong or weak in their minds. Just because a gnoll only has a 6 intelligence doesn't mean that they couldn't track a party. Hunger may be their main motivation, and that's just fine. A gnoll would most certainly try to ambush and attack from flanking positions. From the cover of darkness, a gnoll should be able to get close enough to attempt a shot with their longbow. The gnoll would need to be closer at night to see a target, but could move in closer using the hide move action. Regardless, make sure to utilize the longbow early in the encounter, and then switch over to the spear and bite attacks once they are within melee distance of their victim. Remember, only melee attacks will trigger the gnoll's rampage feature. You can't do it with the bow, it's gotta be a melee attack. That's okay, they're gonna move in. Don't forget about the dash, disengage, and dodge actions either. The gnoll will try and go after a single target or wounded target using dash, disengage, and dodge in order to maneuver closer to a single target will allow them to bite or use their spear. Avoid engaging with just any PC. Maybe the person that's in your way. No, that's not the injured guy. Just go after the injured person with just any PC within attack range and focus more on a wounded PC in order to get them to 0 hit points quickly. Choose a single PC and stick to it. Once they are reduced to 0 hit points, then move to the next PC. Just keep that pattern going and you'll be more, quote, effective against a single target. These tactics would also apply to multiple gnolls. They would certainly coordinate and gang up on a single PC in order to reduce them to 0 hit points as quickly as possible, giving at least one gnoll access to their rampage feature. Additionally, one gnoll attacking a party is probably unlikely. In fact, once a gnoll is aware of a party, it would likely attempt to recruit other gnolls from a nearby pack or hunting party. Hey guys, food's over there! Which may be deadly for PCs who are completely unaware. If a GM wants to expand on that, gnolls may bring along hyena hunting companions, for example. A GM can also increase the number of gnolls dramatically by alerting a nearby tribe. That's not good news for the party. The scalability of gnolls could challenge just about any party of adventurers, so don't be afraid to expose your group to them. Gnolls are a great way to deplete resources as well, in case you have other challenges later in the day or night. Wink, wink, if you know. Anyway, but I digress. Just make sure you avoid the player versus GM state of mind. We don't want that. We want everyone having fun, okay? But gnolls can be fun too. Don't forget this is a game and should be fun for everyone. Gnolls can easily overwhelm a party of adventurers, so be sure to scale the encounter to make it make sense. Yeah, you don't want to just overwhelm a 3rd level party with 100 gnolls. It's not advised. Also, while the 5e monster manuals list the spear as a gnoll's melee weapon, there's no reason not to consider varying that up with other melee weapons. Being scavengers, it would not be unusual to have gnolls equipped with swords, battle axes, etc. Feel free to be creative. That's what I always encourage. For more inspiration, just check out this list of gnoll information here. I'm going to provide that link and you'll see this. This will be in the provided document, but be sure to check that out, as I think you'll like the lore dating all the way back from 1st edition all the way up to 5th edition. It's really neat. If you're really into taking a deep dive into Gnoll lore, it's the site to go to, in my opinion. I'm sure there's other sites. Feel free to share those here in the comments below also. So let me know what you all think. Please be sure to comment and like and subscribe, all that stuff. And if you like what you see here, definitely consider supporting us by going to jetpack7.com. We really appreciate it, and be sure to spread the word. We're trying to grow this channel, and with your help we can do that. All right, thanks a lot. You all have a good week, and we'll see you next time. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.